All right, well, let's knock this out before Skylar's computer explodes, because I did set a bomb in his hard drive that he doesn't know about, but he thinks it's failing. So, anyway, let's get going. Hey,
That's
what's up,
what it
Skylar?
is. What's up?
Hey, I didn't see you there at the beginning of the show here.
Hello.
Yeah, I was just telling our audience that everything is fine and this is going to be a great show.
You're trying to turn me into Two-Face? It's gonna blow up and only
Uh,
blow up half of my face.
oh, oh, you
Conveniently.
heard that part? Yeah. That is my plan because it was like if I have to be some kind of Batman villain, I would obviously be the Penguin. And who do you not see team up with Penguin very often? Two Face. So I need a Two Face to hang out with and tell me when I look really short in my tuxedos. And I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen them team up in the movies or TV shows or anything.
Didn't they in, no, I guess they did. I was thinking of, the Arkham games. I don't think
Oh,
they teamed
possibly.
up, but they were in the same place.
Yeah, that's true. Fuck. I played the first one. I don't think I ever finished the second one. I have it, but I had it on my old laptop, which ran games like garbage. So I didn't ever finish it.
God, I think I played that. Yeah, I had that on my old laptop as well, and I believe I played through that whole game at like a steady 15 FPS.
Man.
It's pretty good. I eventually played it later on, a console, and it was a much better experience
Oof, I
overall.
bet. I
Good
bet.
games, all of them. Good games. Even Arkham Knight was pretty good. Besides,
That's the one I didn't play was Arkham Knight.
yeah, that one was good. Good premise, good story, everything. The only thing that sucked about that one was like a majority of the game you spend in the Batmobile, and there's so many
Mm,
like boss fights that are just you're in the
like
Batmobile
car.
taking out tanks, and it's
Oh.
pretty lame. Like I think Deathstroke is a boss, but you just fight him in a tank the whole time,
Oh man,
which is like
that's kind of lame.
stupid.
Yeah. Like he was a badass dude. He knew a bunch of martial arts and like pistols and guns and or swords is what I meant, not pistols and guns. But weapons training. I mean, he was the
Yeah,
main fucking bad guy of the Teen Titans show, and it was like he was an imposing dude. I don't know how accurate that the Teen Titans one was based off of
yeah.
the
I have
animated one.
no idea. It was a good show
Yeah,
though.
yeah, I dug it. I dug it. But then you just fight him in a tank. That's
Yeah, it was very, you know, un-Batman like. At least for
yeah.
that kind of. It would have been better if it was less of that and more of hand-to-hand combat or using his gadgets and shit, like the boss fight in City with Mr. Freeze. That's like a
Mm,
very good, very well done boss fight. You have to use every single gadget in your arsenal,
man,
stealth, all that good shit.
that's cool.
Good example of a boss fight in a Batman game done like right.
Mm-hmm. Something that doesn't feel like you could just counter and attack and then counter and then attack and then that's pretty much the rinse and repeat of a lot of boss fights in other
Yeah.
games. But
I mean, that was basically the whole game with that. Every enemy
yeah.
encounter was just counter and attack, and it gets a little bit more crazy in night. And there are a bunch, different enemies that have different, attack patterns, and you have to use different stuff to get that combo meter up and be flashy. But
Yeah.
Spider-Man, I haven't played it, but I heard it has a very similar fighting mechanic. It's counter
It
and attack.
does. Yeah, yeah.
The
The
PS4 Spider-Man.
PS4 one, yeah. The first one at least I got. I played the hell out of it. It was a fantastic game. I just don't remember any of it now. Like like this it was good. Story was good. The fighting was really cool and the swinging through the city felt pretty fun. I just don't remember all the events. It had some moments too where it would switch from Spider-Man to like you'd play as MJ and do like a stealth mission as her and stuff, and that was pretty sweet. I don't remember like the main story points. I think Sinister Six was the thing. It was like, oh, these guys are getting together and they're gonna be bad guys together.
Apparently, they made the main character look more like Tom Holland in like the remaster for the PS5.
Yeah, I saw that, and that, like, why? You know, it doesn't.
Because Tom Holland is Spider-Man, baby.
I guess, man.
He's
I
the
guess.
de facto Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Yeah.
It'll
no,
always be
I
Toby in
didn't-
my heart.
Yeah, same.
I didn't see
That
the
or,
Andrew Garfield one. I didn't see any of
Oh,
those.
you didn't see Amazing Spider-Man 1
No,
and 2?
I didn't.
They were pretty okay. Amazing Spider-Man 1 was really solid. The second one could have been good, but the pacing was just really weird, and it didn't flow very well as a movie. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was a good attempt. I think it was cool that they tried to bring in. I want to say his name is Electro, because they hadn't done that in the first three movies, and I think in the old like animated show, he was the dude with like he had the mask, but it was like a bunch of lightning bolts going off in a bunch of directions.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like super cool outfit. I would have loved to see that, but
Did they
they
just
took
go with like the
his-
standard one where it's like all felt or whatever, like some kind of anti-electricity?
what they did was they took the Electro from the Ultimate Spider-Man series, where instead of having like a goofy costume, he was like more of like made out of electricity. Like he looked kind of Dr. Manhattan-ish, but you know, blue electricity instead of blue fucking god powers or whatever. So they
okay.
did that, and it was Jamie Foxx, and he did really good. I thought he was a fantastic Electro, but the movie itself, it was what I remember of it. The pacing was really bad, and I was just like, and it never got a third. I heard that it's getting a third now after this new Spider-Man, which I haven't seen, but I like read spoilers on and stuff, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I've
I
been
kinda-
spoiled as well. I know what the big
Yeah.
twist is, or not twist, but the big reveal that
Mm-hmm.
they surprisingly they kept it under wraps. I was surprised. I mean, everybody was expecting it, of course, but
Yeah. No, it
as
was,
far as like leaks went, I didn't see anything on all the channels that I frequent that have Marvel leaks because for some reason I don't watch the movies, but I do like want stuff spoiled just because.
Yeah, I enjoy it sometimes. Like if I know I don't want to go sit in a movie theater and pay an exorbitant price to see a superhero movie, which I think I've mentioned before, I'm kind of over superhero movies at this point. So
Same.
even though it's Spider-Man, I fucking love Spider-Man, but it's like it's still a superhero movie, and I'm like, I can't keep up with what Marvel is doing with movies anymore. It's just like there's so much, and I just
Movies
can't.
and streaming.
care.
I mean, they do everything now.
Yeah,
I mean, you should say I guess I should say Disney.
Disney,
Good old
freaking Disney,
Papa Disney.
Yeah,
I have to wonder if Walt would roll over in his grave if he saw what Disney had become.
yeah, right. I don't know what his like original vision for Disney was, but I can't imagine it's like buy every single big franchise and just milk the fuck out of it.
No, I don't think it was. Funny enough, I actually recently discovered this YouTube channel that He does documentaries on like a bunch of different. He does like documentaries on theme park stuff, and a lot of his stuff relates to Disney, But he does a lot of classic Disney stuff. So there's a lot of interesting stuff, like Walt trying to build Epcot, which was supposed to be the city of the future, except it was going to be like an authoritarian, maybe not authoritarian, but he wanted to have complete control of everybody that lived in Epcot.
Oh.
It's kind of a crazy, it's a really crazy premise. Walt was he was a visionary. I'll say that. He was truly a visionary, and he had this artistic vision for what the company was going to do, what it was going to become, Snow White obviously is like for when it came out, like a masterpiece, I guess.
Yeah.
Hand drawing everything and
This is one of the first, sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's okay.
Like for animated movies, it was like the first super big, super like successful one like in the world,
It was, yeah. No, absolutely.
Which is super cool. Like, even though it is, all the old Disney, like what people think of classic Disney princesses and stuff, are literally just like folk tales and fairy tales and shit that were in the that are just free to use, Cause
sure, it's like the Brothers Grimm. Their whole. That's where I think a lot of the inspiration came from, was their stories, which date back to. I'm not going to make up a time, but it was pretty far back.
Far enough
before
back
Disney,
that we don't remember. Yeah. So like, they weren't paying anybody for their IP to make shitloads of money off of.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
nowadays, and they're like, you can't use anything Disney uses.
Well, that's because Disney now. It's funny you mention that, because like the reason they could use it is because it was considered public domain.
Domain, that's the word. Yep.
Yeah, and now it's Disney has put laws in place, lobbied for copyright laws, and so it's like Mickey Mouse. He's supposed to have entered public domain. I think it was like the 80s, 90s, something like that.
Wow.
But because Disney lobbied for it, they extended it, and they'll do it again as well. I mean, they're just going to keep doing it. So, yeah, it's...
what the hell?
Disney's a crazy powerhouse of a company now. It's insane. And I mean, Michael Eisner almost fucking shit the whole bed, the whole thing in the 80s and 90s, because they were like, oh, yeah, the Disney theme park in Disney World. Is Disney World the one in California?
Disneyland is California.
Disneyland. Okay, so they were like, Disneyland was successful, Disney World was successful. Now let's expand and do Disney Europe, which was a big failure.
Oh man.
And they were like, Disney Japan, also a big failure.
Yup. I want to say Paris, Tokyo.
Yeah.
Was there like a Disney Berlin?
I don't know. I think there was also a Disney China, possibly.
China,
but I know every time they tried to create a Disney theme park outside of the U.S., it failed. It was just, nobody was buying into that consumerist bullshit in Europe or anywhere else in the world. I think the other most successful one was the one in Japan.
Yeah.
Just because the Japanese love Disney shit.
Yeah, they love Disney shit. They also, I mean, after after World War II, their whole cultural shift was let's Americanize, let's Westernize, and see what the Americans are doing, because they're on top of the world right now. So let's get into what they like, and that's where I think Honda sprung up as a hey, we like American motorcycles, but let's make our own motorcycles company. And so yeah, Disney and stuff.
It makes sense.
It's a big deal in America. It would make sense for it to be a big deal in Japan. And then you reverse that and all of the Japanese culture and shit that I'm a weeb about, It's kind of funny, huh?
Well, sure, yeah. It's it's coming back around, coming full circle.
Yeah. Everything is one, and one is everything. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. I don't think Walt would like. I mean, I can't speak for him, obviously, but it doesn't feel like there's magic. You know, that was his big thing. Was like it has to be magical. It has to and they're just churning out superhero movie after superhero movie. Obviously, they do really well in the box office. Kids love it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good, but I don't know. Their last full animated movie was Princess and the Frog, or 2D animated, I should say. And after that, they've just switched to 3D animation, which of course is the future. But
yeah,
I would like them to at least try to make another full-length feature film in 2D. I mean, I think they could. They definitely have the resources to.
Yeah, for sure. Like, 2D animation is not dead by any means. It's just like most of it has gone to, YouTube or something, because independent animators are that's where the market is, I guess. I don't know. I
mean, not really for
where
2D
the market
animation,
is.
no. At least not on YouTube. YouTube, it's all about those with 2D animation, it takes a long time to get just a couple minutes of animation out. Mm-hmm. And YouTube, it's all about, if you want to make serious money, you have to be churning out 10+ minute videos.
On ad revenue and stuff.
Revenue, and it's better for the algorithm and everything like that.
That makes sense.
And it's it's actually very hard for 2D animators to get a footing on YouTube. Very difficult.
Wow.
Not like the days of Newgrounds and stuff where, it would get to the front page and you could click on it and see it, and they would, I don't know how much money they would make from that, but I think it would be more than from YouTube.
I would hope so.
There are a few exceptions to the rule, of course. And I think it's usually content creators that have a main channel where they do all their animated stuff, and they have another channel where they do typical YouTube bullshit, gaming, reaction videos, looking at memes and laughing, ha ha ha. Looking at memes that are about their videos or reacting to people reacting to their videos, That's the YouTube climate, man. It's really, it's shit. Jesus. It's really shitty. And then there's the fact that they're doing the whole shorts thing now, which is
literally just stealing TikTok.
It's TikTok, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't make any money off of it because it's not 10 minutes plus in length, so advertisers don't want to put their videos on it.
Oh man.
Unless you're a huge, I'm sure if PewDiePie were to do it, I'm sure he could probably make a good amount of money off shorts, but definitely not as much as his main, haha, funny video game, haha.
Yeah.
I'm Swedish. I have a funny accent even though I've been speaking English for 20 years. No, I'm sure he's a good dude. I'm not making fun. I am making fun. But he seems like a genuine dude.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's easy to be envious because that dude, he doesn't have to work a day in his life ever again.
Nope, he is set. Poof.
And it's probably been that way for years, but he still does it because why not? How else is he gonna afford that huge ass house he lives in with his beautiful wife?
How is he gonna afford his beautiful wife?
His beautiful Italian mistress.
Oh. I don't think I've ever watched a full PewDiePie video all the way through.
There was a period of time where I kind of did. I wasn't super into him, but he made some funnies, Just my whole approach with YouTube and people playing video games. I've always heard the argument where it's well, you should just play the video game yourself. Well, obviously I'm not going to go onto Steam and buy this $10 piece of trash game. It's funnier to watch someone I think is funny play it and react to it,
Yeah. 100%.
It'd be funnier than me playing it myself and being like, oh, this is shit, and I just wasted $10 on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, there's a market, there's a market for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's why my Twitch streaming days are pretty much over, because I know that I'm I'm not super entertaining to watch play video games, I don't think.
Twitch, right? It's hard to break into now. I mean, like, I think, I don't want to say the ship has sailed, because I'm sure there are fringe cases that, a small streamer does something. I mean, like Among Us. That was a big thing. That got a lot of people really big. A lot of unknown people really big. So if you were to follow those trends, then maybe, but...
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're not entertaining, but you have to be entertaining as well as cater to that specific audience. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background with it, and...
Yeah, it's very much a, like... It's a social media platform is what it is. There's people who, use Twitch on the regular, like our parents use Facebook, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
On Twitch, and that's their source of social online interactions.
Just so
you
they
have
can
to
be a nameless
like,
face in a sea of pogs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah.
No, you're right.
So the people who are on there, like, broadcasting shit, they have to be with the community at the very least. And I definitely am not. I'm real bad about every social media platform. I just don't, I don't have the energy for it. It drains me. You know what I mean? I've been trying to, like, I think Instagram is the thing I use the most now. And I set, like, my phone has, like, things where you can set, I think it's called, like, a wellness timer or something, or a health timer, and you can set timers on how much you use your apps so that, like, you can only use it, like, 30 minutes a day or something like that to really, like, cut down on spending hours and hours just endlessly scrolling, and then, by the end of it just feeling angry or... like, especially Facebook. Every time I go on Facebook, it just makes me angry. So
You're here.
Don't, or I'll get on and, like, I'll log in to see if I have any notifications, and it's like, oh, no notifications? Okay, log out. And then I get the pop-up that's like, hey, you weren't logged in for very long. Did you log into your real account? And it was like, what? Of course. So you can, like... I don't know why somebody would, like, hack into your account and log out and then be like, oh, yeah, this wasn't me, Like, how do you accidentally log into somebody else's Facebook account,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't really know how. I mean, unless you had a very similar username and similar password, I guess. That would probably be the only way.
That would be, like, the only way. But
or if somebody else had access to your phone.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Or if you, like, save your data into whatever.
Yeah, like you have...
Firefox that saves all your passwords and you can just punch it in and not worry about it. Yeah,
by the way, you shouldn't let Firefox do that.
Oh, I
or
shouldn't?
Google. No. I mean, it's easier, but for proper security, you should use a password manager.
Yeah.
But, I mean, ease of use. I mean, I do it. I mean, I have Google save all my fucking passwords and shit. I probably shouldn't say this because someone's going to hack me now. But
and what's your Gmail account?
What's your mother's maiden name? Where were you born? Your
what
dog's
was your first pet's name?
Yeah, your pet's first name. Or your first pet's name, yeah. What street did you live on when you were a child?
Oof.
I see that shit on Facebook all the time, like, and it'll usually be older people, and it'll be like, your whatever your birth month is this, your birthday is this, and your like first street's name is this, and you combine them all together and you get your porn star name or something.
Yeah.
Obviously a phishing attempt. Very obvious.
Man.
I see those all the time.
I see them and I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. But then I was like, wait, if I put out, like, if I reshare this or whatever and then say exactly what it is, they would know the month, day of my birth plus, you know, a bunch of other info that I'm like, okay.
If they're smart about it, they'll be asking you stuff that you would respond to your, like, typical security question when you create an account somewhere. That way, if they get your email, then they can enter your email and try and recover the password. And one of the first things they'll ask you is be like, oh, well, what's your security question? That's why you should always use two-factor authentication, people.
Oh, man.
Have it send a text to your phone or use a authentication app.
But then can you trust that authentication app? What if somebody hacks into the authenticator and
Yeah, I mean, that would be very difficult. But, you're right. It's, it's possible. I mean,
there's
crazier
always
things have happened, There's been data breaches all over. You get that you get that 10-20 cent check in the mail from Equifax for them fucking leaking all your data.
Oof.
On the dark web. Well, they didn't leak it. Somebody got it and leaked it. But yeah, I got my 10-cent check. That was pretty cool.
What? I don't think I did.
I didn't take a 10-cent check. I took like a 3-year. You get 3 years of free credit reporting from Equifax, but it's still bullshit.
Yeah. Yeesh.
But yeah, it happens, Cybersecurity is it's crazy.
Yeah, it
like
is.
It's so
it's
easy
always evolving and what?
Like it's easy. It's easy to, for a typical like person, they're probably going to use a password that's like maybe their kid's name, maybe it's like password 123, something very simple. And I mean, it's all CPU dependent. I'm not going to get into the tech part of it, but if you have a good enough computer, you can crack a pretty difficult password in a reasonable amount of time. Especially if it's just like common words like in the dictionary.
Oh man, okay. So you have to go outside the dictionary for your passwords.
Yeah, best password you can make is just a random series of letters and numbers and characters if whatever website allows it. Some websites don't. And that's usually not a good sign. If they don't let you put a hashtag or a exclamation point, then your password's going to be weaker. Like, fun fact, RuneScape, their passwords are not case sensitive.
Oh.
So you can put any combination of upper and lowercase letters and it doesn't matter.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's
very, very bad. I mean, very bad.
Jeez.
That's why, it's just best practice to, use a bunch of series of random letters and numbers and use a password manager so you can keep them all in one, database. Of course, that could be hacked too. But it's less likely.
Yeah. There's always, there's always some way somebody's going to get in and hack it. You just have to, live with that fact, Death, taxes, and hackers.
Getting hacked.
You know what I'm saying?
I was always told it was a matter of when, not if, when it comes to that stuff. If somebody wants it bad enough, they'll get it.
Yeah.
Just
the
to
trick
make
is to not be desirable at all.
Don't be desirable at all. Don't have any information that anybody wants. Live off the grid.
Yeah.
That's really the best way to protect your identity is just fucking get off the grid.
Yeah, just go live in a cabin in a mountainside. That's the only way to have your identity 100% intact.
Too bad it's impossible to do nowadays.
Yeah, it is. I have heard that people who would go live off of grid and they'd be successful at it and be like, okay, cool, I'm totally carbon neutral, and I'm not relying on any of these fucked up food systems or interdependent trade routes and yada yada yada, like 100% self-sufficient. And then they still get like hit with like income taxes and shit, like that they get, even if they don't have an income because they don't have a job, because they're just, they don't need one because they're self-sufficient. It's still like, oh, you're not paying the government to live off this land that you own. That, yeah. It's super difficult to be off the grid, from what I've heard.
Yeah. No, that's what I've heard too. It's basically impossible nowadays. I mean, you could be homeless, upsetting. I guess, but I mean, you still got your name in the Social Security data. I mean, at least in America, still have your name in a Social Security database. If you get picked up by the police, they're gonna find out who you are. There's just there's no way to be free of that anymore.
Yeah. Unless you go completely off grid and then give yourself total amnesia and have to relearn everything. And then, if they say, oh, well, you're, John Doe from XYZ, and you're like, no, I've never heard that name before in my life. They're like, okay, polygraph, this guy's lying. Oh, he's not lying. Then who is he?
I mean, if you're going to go that route, you've got to burn off your fingers, like your fingerprints. You've also got to pull out all your teeth.
Oh, because I don't want to do that.
Dental records and then fingerprints.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Unless you've never been to a dentist, then I guess you're good. So just don't go to a dentist, folks.
Just don't go.
Don't brush your teeth. Don't floss.
Yeah, just let them fall out naturally. And then it won't hurt as much.
That's what God intended. We weren't supposed to live to be 80 years old.
No. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I've pretty much accepted that that's the way it is. I've bought into the system so long, it'd be hard to get out.
Yeah. It's sort of like, it would be cool. It would be cool to do that, but it's like, it's so much effort, and it's already a lot of work just living my normal, shitty life, that taking it an extra step further and trying to, like, escape it all, like, and then by the end of it, I still wouldn't be happy, so it's like, well, why struggle all that much? Like, take the road that is already paved. If it's
drink the Kool-Aid,
yeah,
or whatever it was. It was like Rite Aid or something.
Rite Aid is like a that's like
medicine
a concert shop.
Oh, is it?
I think.
I don't know. They didn't actually drink Kool-Aid at Jonestown. It was like some off-brand Kool-Aid.
But everyone says drink. Even brand name Kool-Aid?
No, yeah, it was some like off-brand Kool-Aid. Awful tragedy, but yeah, they didn't even get real Kool-Aid.
Really damn. You think one of the dudes like poured a cup of it for himself and was like, dude, this isn't even like, this is 100% Kroger powdered flavored mix. Like, it's not even real
best choice.
But
and then the cult leader's like, but it is also 100% cyanide. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Sure.
You convinced me. Damn, you're persuasive.
See you on the spaceship.
Damn.
Oof. That's dark.
Kurai. That's dark.
What's that mean? Gurai?
Kurai.
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 Yeah.
I shouldn't do that.
Oh, I do. Like, when I'm learning words, and to make sure I get the pronunciation right, I like to throw on my, like, samurai voice, Watashi wa Ginko desu. Fuck. See, that wasn't even a sentence.
You should
It was
play
parts of the
Sekiro so you
sentence.
can talk like him because he sounds
I-
sexy.
Yeah, I
When he
need
talks
to.
in Japanese, he sounds very sexy.
Does he not talk in Japanese the whole game?
You can pick Japanese or English.
Oh, that's
Which I
cool.
went with Japanese because I don't know. I think it would sound weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play. I beat it, and I plan on doing an NG plus in English. But that
Nice.
final boss like broke me in ways I can't really describe.
Wow.
I
So
did
you
beat it.
completed Sekiro. Wow.
I did, yeah, which is rare for me with a Souls
Congratulations.
game. Yeah,
Damn.
coming from the guy that never beat Gwyn,
Yeah.
I did beat.
Bro, I didn't even get past the fucking ceaseless discharge in Dark Souls 1. Okay?
Oh yeah,
So I have no room to talk.
yeah. I mean, they're hard games. Sekiro is on a different level, I think, just because. You know, you only have one weapon throughout the game. You have to learn how to parry. You have to get perfect parrying down to beat most bosses.
Man.
But yeah, that final boss, my God, it was it took me days. I'll say that. Just I would play for 2 hours or so, and then get my shit kicked in, and then I'd stop and I'd come back the next day and I'd be like, I'm gonna do this, and then I eventually did.
Nice.
But yeah, very good game.
Congratulations. That's cool.
Thank
I
you.
need to play it, but I think my computer could probably run it. It ran on PS4, Xbox One, so
Yeah. It's I had a couple slowdowns and places that were really, I mean, it's a beautiful game on top of being a very good action game,
yeah.
but there were a couple slowdowns in some places with a lot of stuff, particles and shit going on.
Mm-hmm,
But it wasn't bad. It was pretty well optimized.
Nice. I get what you mean about setting it to Japanese though, because Monster Hunter Rise, I think I think it lets you choose the default, right? But
Yep.
from World, I think it was default to English, and it was really, really weird. And then in Rise, it's okay, you're in is it Kamura Village?
Yeah, Kamura.
Yeah. So it's if you don't pick the Monster Hunter language, then Japanese it sounds way better than the English dubbing of it.
Yeah, it does.
It just makes more sense.
Unfortunately, those dubs are pretty rough. I mean, there are a couple good characters. The commander dude, his English VA is pretty good.
Yeah.
But we got the hunters. I don't know. I tried playing it in English for a while, and it was just no. I mean,
Yeah, because
I
they
have
do
their
those,
voices shut off most of the time anyway. But I was like, God, I cannot stand my guy's voice.
Yeah. And they would do those just random shout outs that they've included. It's super weird that they just say things. It's odd. But then you don't, there's no subtitles or anything for it. So if you play it in Japanese, he's just saying some Japanese phrase, and then it's okay, well, I don't know what he said, so it doesn't bother me as much as hearing yeah, take that every time or something,
Yeah, it's jarring. I mean, I played through the whole thing in Wyverian,
Yeah.
the Monster Hunter language. Same with World. I tried playing World with the English, but God, the handler,
Yeah.
it's just
Annoying.
gosh,
is what it was.
why? It's they tried to make her the main character of the game and not the hunter.
Yeah, you're really there to just kill shit for her.
Yeah.
Is all it was.
And she gets into fucking trouble so much. She has to be saved all the time.
Yeah.
And it's dude, if you just didn't put yourself in these situations, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to make the handler seem more hands-on, what an actual, what the guild marm and whatever they should have been doing. Like, they would go out and see the monsters themselves, you know.
Yeah.
But it just ended up being like, man, why is this chick coming along with me, man? She should just stay at camp.
Yeah. Like, I promise I will bring you back a Brachydios head if you just, like, just hang out.
Just chill, okay? Just hang out here. Nergigante, he's not going anywhere. He'll be there. You can come see his corpse after we're done. But I am specifically trained for this.
Yeah. Do you even see how big the sword is on my back, lady? Come on. Let me let the professionals handle this.
I did like in Rise how they showed that every villager like had mastered some weapon, or at least had proficiency enough to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to think that what sets normal people apart from the hunters is that the hunters practice with every weapon and can be masters of every weapon, whereas just normal folk are only going to be able to be good with one, if that.
Yeah.
That was kind of how I saw it.
Kind of like the I've been doing a little bit of reading of like Bushido and stuff like that, like Book of the Five Rings. You know, I just started it, but it talks about like the whole class system of people. You know, you have your merchants and you have your peasants and you have your lords, and then you have like your warriors, and it's like it's the warrior's job in society to master the arms and then, you know, be able to use them in you know, in a whatever manner that needs to be, whenever a war or something needs to be fought. It's like the, you know, those are the dudes and chicks who are in charge of like, hey, that's a spear, okay, let me use that to kill an enemy or an invading monster or whatever. And I like to think that Monster Hunter takes from that idea, you know.
That makes sense, yeah.
The hunters are the samurai of the village that they're in.
Yeah, I mean, they're the protector, you know. They're the first ones to be called out whenever shit hits the fan.
That's right.
What's that old saying? Fear not the man that's practiced 1,000 different kicks. Fear the one that's practiced one kick 1,000 times.
Ooh.
I can't remember where I heard that. I feel like it's an old saying, but I don't know.
That is a cool saying. Whoa.
Yeah.
Man, I like that.
Just
Keep
because,
that
you know,
in your
it's
back pocket.
You know, mastery. You master one thing, you're going to be the best at it. But if you're good at a lot of things, you're never going to be the best at something.
Yeah, that's true. You have to... Yeah, it's a sort of a balance thing, too. You know, if you're going to be a super badass with a sword, you better also be pretty badass with, like, you know, paintbrush. Because it's that dual... I don't know if dualistic is the right term. Or, well-roundedness is important.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, even, like mentally, you know. If you're a dude who's out there stabbing stuff on a daily basis, your psyche's gonna get fucked up unless you somehow be able to properly channel the energy and aggression that it takes to stab stuff, you know, channel it into something else when you're not needing to stab stuff. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I mean, you know, like Buddhist monks, they practice meditation, but they also practice martial arts because it's a form of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So they get that, you know, they get inner peace. They find a way to find inner peace with both, even though one is aggressive and one is pacifistic.
Yeah.
If I could equate to what you're saying to something.
Yeah, 100%. That's pretty spot on. That there's, you know, if you have if you have true peace of like mind, you know, you should be able to you know, take action when action needs to be taken and not take action when no action is needed, I suppose. I'm not a fucking guru or anything, you guys.
Not
I'm
yet.
I'm just regurgitating all the shit that I hear and read and stuff, because...
Aren't we all?
Yeah. I hope so. I hope people are regurgitating things that they read.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. Instead of
fun
just
fact.
regurgitating TikTok all day.
Yeah,
you know
stop
what I mean?
regurgitating TikTok, you fucks. There's more to life than that tiny little screen you hold in your hand all day.
Yeah. Put your phone down and pick up a sword every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
Or a gun. I mean...
Or a gun, yeah.
I mean, the gun is the modern-day sword.
Mm-hmm. Split the difference, pick up a bow.
There you go.
Yeah. Or a shotgun. I don't know. What were you gonna say? You said fun fact, and I totally.
Oh
cut
yeah,
you off.
fun fact. I mean, just because we were talking about like martial arts and stuff, but Thai kickboxers. I only know this because my aunt is Thai. They will kick banana trees with their shins, and they'll break their shins because when the bones grow back, they grow stronger, and your kick gets stronger.
Oh man.
Maybe not banana trees, but they kick trees.
Kicking anything until your shin.
But they kick some
on
kind of
purpose?
tree, and yeah, they use their shins. They kick trees, and they create
Jesus.
micro fractures in their shin, and then when they heal, the bone grows back stronger. So therefore, their kick becomes stronger, and they can kick harder.
God damn.
Just a little fun fact, I know.
That's wild, man. That's super cool. I mean, like, that probably hurts like a motherfucker. Like, there's...
It goes back to that, you know, you practice a kick 1,000 times, you know, one kick. It's going to be a really painful kick when you get kicked with it.
Yeah, that famous saying that you regurgitate.
I feel like it's Sun
from
Tzu.
your aunt.
It sounds like something Sun Tzu would say, but I've never read The Art of War.
Ah.
I should. Everybody should.
Yeah, I need to as well.
I've heard it like it applies in real life to, like, you know, modern day situations if you just kind of twist. If you think of life as a war or a battle that you're fighting, then, you know.
Yeah, change your perception a little bit to where you could employ some strategy if you're smart.
Like, never fight a battle that you know you are for sure aren't going to win. I know that's a whatever axiom or idiom, whatever.
Yeah, love is a battlefield. That's also a big one that I remember.
And the famous philosopher Pat Benatar.
That's right. Yeah. Now there's audiobooks. I've been getting into audiobooks again because you know,
because actually picking up a book and looking at words is too difficult.
Yeah.
No,
because I don't know how to actually read. It's
Please read to me. No, I get it. It's easier. Like if you're driving to work or something.
Or like if I'm at work and, you know, I don't have any podcasts to listen to and I listen to the same 4 playlists of music over and over and that gets old. So it's like, okay, let's actually kind of learn something. Yeah, I've been back on the audiobooks thing. But there's a free version of Art of War that I need to download and listen to.
It's one that's been on my list for forever, but I don't know. After I read Brothers Karamazov, which was like 2 years ago, it was a good book, but man, it was a book that put me off reading. Not like it was so bad that it put me off reading, but it was so dense, and I was constantly Googling stuff to try and understand. You know, it was just a very dense book that just
Yeah.
kind of put me off it for a little while. When I say a little while, I mean like 2 years.
I mean, I haven't read anything in 2 years. Not
Yeah.
even Street Signs.
Not even a magazine or anything. No, I've just blocked it all out.
If it's not in pictures, it's not going to my eyeballs. No, dude, Brothers Karamazov, I've heard, is fucking, like, super dense, super hard, material. That's, like, the premise, or, like, what the outer premise of it is, just, like, a conversation between these two brothers, and one of them is, like a chantryman,
Yeah, priest.
and the other is, like, the opposite of that. And
Yeah,
they
it's
just,
a
like,
it's a
talk
lot
back
of
and
things.
forth and stuff.
Yes, it goes through. I think the one part. Well, there's a lot of parts of it that stand out to me, but there's one part, and we could have a whole, like episode on just this book. But one part that
I'd have to
stands
read
out.
it first.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, it definitely is one you should read. I think it's one everybody should read, but it's like 1,000+ pages of Russian literature, and it's dry at parts, and it's very depressing at parts.
Mm-hmm.
The one part that really does stand out to me is there's a whole chapter, and he's talking to. I can't remember who he's talking to, but they're talking in the context of if Jesus came back during the Inquisition, and if Jesus were to go on and teach his teachings, then he would be taken by the Inquisition and tortured to death, because that's not what the Inquisition believed. Even if he was able to prove himself to be, because I believe at one point he actually proves that he is Jesus, and they're just like, we don't care, because you're going against what we're teaching now. And so they kill him without any ceremony or anything. That was, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that in that book. It's very heavy on religion, very heavy on politics, war, I believe, it's Russian literature is just insanely depressing, especially from that era in time during the Bolshevik. I don't actually know the history of it, but I believe it was written during that period. Dostoevsky.
Yeah. And
he saw some shit, is what I'll say.
For sure. I bet, dude. Him and was he contemporary with Tolstoy?
I want to say they were in the same era, but I'm not, 100%. I feel like a lot of Russian literature was lost during the Bolshevik Revolution, when they were just burning books and everything. But I don't know, I don't know the history of it. There's a whole forward part in the book that I read that explained the history of it, but like I said, it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Good book, though. Highly recommend. Probably one of my all-time favorites.
Man. I'm definitely gonna have to read it. But it's, thick. Some of that classic literature is like, you can't just like casually read it, You have to have it open, and then like a notes page that you take down notes on as you're reading it.
Notes, or at least have Google open so you can Google shit. Because there's obviously a lot of Russian stuff that you just aren't going to get, and they have footnotes and if you buy a version that explains things, there'll be like footnotes, but there's still a lot of shit.
Yeah. A lot of cultural significance.
Sure, yeah.
I forgot what that phrase is, but things in like Russian culture that, they grew up with, sort of like we have their mythos, like Americans have their mythos, and every culture has their own,
Right, or there'll be a word that they have to say in Russian because there's no literal translation for it, and they give you the best translation.
Yeah.
Just because, if you're trying to describe a specific feeling, there's like not a word for it in English.
Hmm.
I'm sure Japanese is kind of the same way, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
not literal. There are some words that you cannot literally translate because it's like I know one word, I think, is like describing a friend because there's different like levels of friend. Is it like a close friend? Is it a work friend? Is it a childhood friend, or is it just like an acquaintance? But they have like words specifically for it.
Yeah.
I guess technically
Yeah.
we do when we say work friend, acquaintance, stuff like that, but they have like words that specifically describe it. Like describe the feeling of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of words and phrases that are like that. Um, Daijobu is one that is, it's like Daijobu desu ka is like, are you okay? Or it's like, it also means like, is it okay? Or like, are you doing okay? You know, and then like you can reply like Daijobu, like okay, or maybe that's a bad example.
Non desu ka.
Non desu ka? I mean, that's like, what is it?
Yeah,
I think
I
is what
know.
that means. Yeah, there's a lot of phrases and words like that. I don't know a ton of them off the top of my head. I just I'm at the point in my Japanese study that I can recognize all the hiragana, and then like, so then I can like kind of read very simple sentences and stuff. If it's all written in hiragana, I can read it all as, at least phonetically, but I just don't know what all the pieces mean, if that makes sense.
It does. No, yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
then
kind
like
of where I'm at with
there's
German. I can read it.
nice.
I know how to read it, but like, I only know specific words and phrases.
Yeah, like phonetically, you give me a piece of writing in Japanese that, if it's mostly hiragana and katakana, I could read it phonetically. But it's like, yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly what that meant. So it's cool. I'll get there. It's just,
It takes
it's
time.
a ton of work. It's a lot of work, man. And the more like I listen and watch and read a bunch of stuff, and a lot of beginner stuff even, I'll go and be like, absolute beginner, and listen to that again and stuff. And everybody always brings it up that like Japanese, Chinese, I think Arabic, are like the three hardest languages for like English learners to learn, or they would take the most time. There's
I think Hebrew is as well.
Hebrew. Yeah, Hebrew is another one that if you were, if you were like some sort of intelligence agent and you're being sent to a different country to, do whatever foreign, it was like, okay, they put you through like a foreign language boot camp, and they say like, okay, you have the average for this an English speaker to learn this language is like 3 weeks, 4 weeks of intense full study. And Chinese, Japanese, Hebrew, they're all like at least 6 months of full on hardcore study, and that's like the average. More people probably take less or more time.
I mean, you're learning a completely different alphabet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very different. I mean, Cyrillic, Russian. That's the same way.
Yeah,
It's just
Russian is.
Yeah. Whereas German, with my personal experience, it uses the regular alphabet and then it has a couple weird letters with dots over them, but they're just pronounced differently. And it's basically the 26 letter alphabet with like 4 different letters. Whereas Cyrillic, it's every letter is different. Japanese has like 50 million different letters. Chinese, same way. Korean.
There's only like four. I want to say 46. I think it's 46 is hiragana, katakana. So it's like there's only 46 like sounds that they make, but it's
almost twice as much
of all those sounds. Yeah. Yeah. And then kanji is a completely different fucking beast because it's essentially just Chinese repurposed for the Japanese. So, they just took it and said, oh, this symbol that means whatever, well, now it is actually this. I think a lot of them kind of translate 100% over, but I know some of them definitely don't. If you look up certain, if you look up kanji if you search for it, it'll pop up with like the Chinese character, and it means something completely different than what even the Japanese character means. It's brutal. It's hard, man.
I'm sure it is. I mean, I feel like learning any language besides your, lingua franca is hard.
Yeah. It's definitely given me a new perspective of like foreigners who immigrate to America and have to learn English because Americans, why don't you speak American?
Yeah, why don't you speak American?
Oh, these fucking foreigners.
But in Europe, they have to learn English.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's just like we learn English and it's like, that's good enough. You'll be able to survive most anywhere on English because most people understand basic English words. Most, I say. But it's like, I remember, I never got to go on the trip to Germany, but something I always heard from the people that did go is they would go to Germany and they would try to speak German to native speakers, and the native speakers would be like, oh, you speak English, and they would try and practice their English with them.
Yeah.
Instead of the other way around. It wouldn't be like they would talk German with them. They would be like, oh, good, you speak English. I can practice English with you.
Yeah.
I think it's the same way with French, although the French people don't really care to talk to American people most of the time. No. That's a generalization. I'm not singling out French people. That's what I heard, is that, it's kind of like they don't really want to, but some don't want to associate just because. Or it's like you try to speak their language and it's like they're offended because you're bastardizing it.
Yeah.
Germans, I heard, weren't like that. They were very friendly, except they were just bad about speaking German with you because they wanted to practice their own English.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, wie heißen Sie, wie geht's es Ihnen? And they'd be like, oh, I can tell you're not German just based off how you said that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Language is fun. I mean, if I had enough time in the world, I would learn every language.
Yeah. It'd be really cool.
I tried to learn Russian at one point, but it's very difficult, and I didn't have the patience.
Russian is also...
That's why I respect you for going so hard into Japanese. Yeah. That's a completely different alphabet, completely different... I mean, they're all different cultures, but...
Yeah. It really just stems from a desire to do, Japanese calligraphy, kanji calligraphy. I try to do regular calligraphy, but I kind of suck at it. And so I was like, okay, ink brush fucking kanji calligraphy is awesome. Looks so cool. I just want to know what it is that I'm writing and then how to do it. Because that's awesome.
You should get so good at it that you become a master.
I should. I really should actually dedicate myself to some kind of practice.
I remember a couple years back when what was it, Ghosts of Tsushima came out. They had that whole I think it was at the Game Awards. They had that guy come out and he played the flute. I don't know if you remember that or if you watched that. But
No.
like everybody in like America and shit, they were getting pissed because it's like, why is this white dude coming out and playing on this? It's not a flute, but it's kind of like a flute. But he was recognized by like the Japanese government as a master
Man.
of that instrument. And yeah, I think that would be crazy. Yeah, super impressive.
Yeah, they do not. From what I've heard of Japanese tourism and things like that, is that they don't warm up to foreigners super easily. You know, it's very. It's a different culture. You know, and
Can you blame them?
yeah, no, it's totally
Especially American.
Especially Americans. I mean.
I mean, maybe
After the
not so much
whole-
nowadays, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure people listening know what we're talking about, know what we're referencing, why, obviously. But there's some bad blood.
Yeah.
Not to laugh,
like,
not to make light of it.
No,
But
it's terrible.
I
Terrible,
can understand
terrible thing.
why.
But yeah, it's like I hate Americans for that. So I get it. 100%. So yeah, to have somebody else come out who is, you know, like a foreign person, a gaijin, to be recognized as a master of something, of like a, you know, a Japanese specific cultural art.
Yeah,
you
it'd be
know?
like being recognized as master of the shamisen is essentially the equivalent.
Oh yeah. Man. That's a hard instrument too.
Very hard.
Oof. That's what's up. I never got to play Ghost of Tsushima. I was waiting to get it on PS5, and then, you know, that's been a 5-year wait or something. So, however
Yep,
long
still very
fucking
hard to get.
PS5 has been out.
Prices are starting to drop,
Yeah.
from what I understand. Whether the supply is increasing or the demand is decreasing, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's that chip shortage, you know, whatever chip they use. Same way with Xbox and
Yeah.
Nintendo. Like, since COVID hit, you know, all these factories had to comply with regulations and whatever, and they couldn't make microchips as, you know, as much as they could.
Yeah,
led to this-
specifically for PlayStation and Xbox manufacturers.
And GPU.
I've seen the emails. I've seen the emails that says, "Hey, COVID's coming, and you guys got to stop making this so that we can oppress gamers more."
Yeah.
Because what are they gonna do when they're locked inside all day? You think they're gonna contribute to society? No, they're gonna be playing video games. So we gotta put a kibosh on this immediately. And they're like, "Okay, better shut down."
They're silencing gamers.
You're
Gamers.
That's what COVID's been about the whole time, dude.
Just silencing us.
It's it's a conspiracy against gamers.
That's why GPUs are so expensive. It's why you can't get
Jesus.
an Xbox One X or a fucking PS5. Can't even get a PS4 Pro for under like $600.
God damn.
I was
dude.
trying to get a PS4 and I was like, well, if I'm going to get one, I'll get a PS4 Pro, you know, just
Yeah.
it's like the stepping stone to a PS5. When it's like, no, maybe I should just wait for a PS5. Can't get either.
Oof. That fucking sucks.
Unless you want to pay scalper prices, which is like, you know, 200, 300 above MSRP.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Not
I'll
in
just
the
wait.
business of supporting my local man. I'm in the business of supporting the giant mega corporation that creates the product.
That's right. That's exactly right. The devil I know is better than the one I don't. I mean, Switch
What
is
if
the
I-
same way. It's the new one that came out with the pretty screen.
Yeah.
Same deal.
So
Hard to get
cool.
because scalpers buy them up.
Yeah. And that's how they make a living, is just sit on their computer all day and hit refresh on the whatever buying site. And yeah, I can't do that. I don't have that kind of I don't have that kind of time, man.
I mean, realistically, they probably have like some kind of script that does it, like a bot. But yeah.
Yeah, probably. That's probably the smart thing.
But, these companies, they, they could have, like, I subscribe to Xbox Game Pass and Gold, whatever, plus, they could send an email out to me, like, first come, first serve basis.
Yeah,
Same
that
with
would be nice.
Sony, like PlayStation Now, if you're subscribed to it and have been for 6 months, send out, be like, hey, you want a PlayStation 5? Click this link.
Yeah. It's kind of what, I guess not really. I was going to say it's kind of what Steam did with the Steam Deck that's coming out, but...
You had to be a
was
member
just,
for a while, right? Like a couple months.
At least, probably. I've had my Steam account since fucking 2007 or something.
Yeah, I know. Mine's super old as well.
But they set up like reservations and shit, and so I have mine in. I paid the $5 so that I could eventually pay like $350, $375. I forget how much I was gonna go with the top tier Steam Deck because I was like, fuck it, why not? If I'm gonna eventually have to expand its whatever, probably its memory, or I think it's just its memory, but
yeah.
I figure if I buy the top tier one, then I can push off that upgrade for a little bit of time.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a pretty quality handheld. Plus it also serves as you can use it as a computer, quote unquote. It has USB-C. So you can plug it into a monitor, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's pretty sick that like the specs on it are pretty much better than my my fucking tower that I'm on right now. Like it's better than that. And I was like, okay.
Well, at least you'll be able to use it like a tower if you want. Plus, you can install Windows on it. I guess it's going to be using Steam's OS. I can't remember what it's called, what its name is, but you can install Linux on it if you want, apparently.
Man.
If you really cared to.
Yeah. It's cool that, like, you could run, like, all your Steam games on it, but then you could also just have, like, an emulator that you downloaded.
Yeah.
And then use it as a handheld emulator.
Yep. Oh, yeah, totally.
Pretty cool. That's exciting. Gabe N hasn't let me down yet, so...
No. That dude still responds to his, like, email address, his emails and shit. Dude's crazy. And he'll respond to, like, the most random shit. It'll be, like, 3 a.m. and he'll answer.
Man.
So, much respect.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Like, he's had me since the fucking Orange Box came out.
Damn.
That was, like, the first game I bought on Steam, I think, was the Orange Box.
Nice.
And yeah, I got my money's worth, I think. Half-Life, Portal, TF2. Yeah. I put
TF2 alone is, yeah.
I put like 500 hours into that back in the heyday.
God damn.
I'd still play it if the bots weren't so bad, but...
Well, I heard recently, and I say recently, like it could have been a year or two ago, that it was like hacked and like a bunch of people's info got fucked up if they played the game. And I was like, oh, that's no good, but I'm sure it was fixed, and I've just been scared of it ever since because fear rules my life.
I think I remember,
Anyway.
that, but I don't know. I haven't played it just because I haven't had a desire to, because I know the bots are so bad. I look at the subreddit from time to time, and it's always the same thing. Like, if you're not playing on private servers or whatever, you're going to have a bad time.
Jeez.
Which is sad. Because it's a good game.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it. And wow, look at that. Look at the time. We did it, folks.
We made it to the end of the episode.
Yeah, and Skylar's computer has not exploded yet.
Not yet. I'm afraid to exit out of or minimize Audacity. So I'm just going to leave it open until we're done. so I don't lose the audio file.
Yeah, as soon as you go to hit stop and then your computer just
Oh
crashes.
my god, could you imagine?
And then it's just me talking to myself the whole show.
Oh yeah, you'd have to upload that. That'd be hilarious. Or like put a text-to-speech program in between the silent bits. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen, folks, and you get to hear my smooth, sultry, dulcet tones for the next hour, 15 minutes, or the past hour, 15 minutes, I should say, if you make it this far.
Yeah.
In any case, I think it's time to end it here.
Indeed. Take it easy, everybody.
Subscribe to Midwest Scumbag at youtube.com. We haven't uploaded in a while, but
yeah, I think
I promise
like
one day we
episodes.
I'll tell you after the episode. Good night, folks.
Yeah.